What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916. Positivity, motivation, never settle for average. You know how we do it over here. I'm always talking about a lot of topics and things going on in society. I had to bring my man Akiem from Hindsight Radio back on. It's been a minute. Akiem, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How you doing for the new year?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Me and the wifey got some really interesting stuff we've been working on. I'm actually doing with her a children's book to try to instill some values in our young people. So trying to reach the really young kids, just life lessons I've learned. So we got a series we're working on with that. Just doing some stuff around with the family and just being really positive, man. And there's so many topics I want to get into. And like myself, I know you're very intellectual and you're really tuned into a lot of things. So a lot of times I have the conversation by myself, just talking to the camera, and I felt, why not bring somebody else on to have an exchange of dialogue to get another viewpoint? Because sometimes when people hear from somebody else, it resonates differently. So one of the things I heard people talking about, and I didn't watch it, was the Super Bowl, man. What do you think about the Super Bowl halftime performance?
It was awesome, man. It was like, I stopped being into sports years ago, but my buddy that I grew up with from New York invited me over to his house. He lives here in North Carolina where I live. So I went to watch it with him. I just to hang out, not so much to watch the game. I didn't care about who was winning the game, but I'm glad I went because that halftime show was a real treat. I think Kendrick Lamar is an absolute genius in how he presented his performance. They had them dressed up in red, white, and blue uniforms, and they had Samuel Jackson playing Uncle Sam's and, trying to, tone it down. Don't be so boisterous as a black youth in your message. The tone of how this country has always been to black folks, in that area where when we speak out, they want to keep our message, how do I want to put that? They want us to tone it down, whereas everyone else, when they got issues, they can speak as loud as they can and everybody's listening. But, but of course it went over a lot of people's heads. Then you saw the truth of a lot of people who claim to be, for everybody, that it came out that this performance. But I think it was a good performance, and I think it sent a message loud and clear. And, with the president was in the audience.
Trump was in the crowd?
Right. Yeah, he came. He was at the Super Bowl. Which I think it was all by design. Like, I don't think nowhere what they did had to be practiced, right?
Yeah.
So they had to know that was gonna be played. How he was gonna present it? It was gonna play. You had to practice all of the synchronization and all of that. That had to be practiced for weeks.
Yeah.
And for it to come down like it did, how he organized it. But it was a good show. I think it was a good show.
You think it was a positive more than a negative message?
I think it was more of a positive. Just say, hey, if you have a truth to speak it. I think it, and he called out. I think the most like epic and diabolical thing that he did was he looked right in the camera and called out Drake. Like, he looked with this smirk on his face. I said, what rap is always about this and, who can one up each other. That's just the culture of rap. And I didn't have a problem with that. This new rap where they're just talking about killing each other and stuff like that. I'm not into all of that. But, but the time when we grow up, you and I grew up, it was always dish rap. You say whoever got the best lyrics won. And that reminded me of that time, how he brought that out,
Okay. Well, I'm glad I got that perspective because I didn't watch it. I've heard like mixed opinions. I know, some people were saying that it was highly viewed and rated, but then it didn't necessarily resonate with everybody. And
of course,
so I know it's like, you're always going to get mixed reviews, but it's interesting to know that it did put out a message, and you said the message was positive, so I'm hoping it resonated with that positivity among other people.
Yeah.
As far as like the rap game, I was just talking with somebody the other day, and they mentioned that, back in the day, it was like play sports or rap was the way out of the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Rap is back in the hood. You know what I mean? It's not,
Right.
it's pulled kid. I mean, it used to be that you did that to create a better environment for your family and
Yeah, it was more of a
opportunities for your friends. Hey, Akiem, man, I made it. Come on, get up out of here. Let's do it. Go do this, and then if we can give back, we can help others. But you can only help those who want to be helped. But
right.
It's like it's been hijacked, man. And which brings me to my next.
Let me just say something about that particular rap song. Well, he rapped about it, different songs in there, different pieces was rapped about. What Kendrick Lamar reminds me of the old school rappers, where you rapped about the times and what you're going through.
Okay.
So yeah. That's what it was. You had the guys like Akiem, Ice Cube, and all of them, and then you had KRS-One, Boogie Down Productions. Though that his rap is a mixture of that culture, where what's his name? Who was the Public Enemy? Remember Public Enemy? Chuck D, where he spoke consciously. And that's what Kendrick although he does get on a diss rant a lot, but when you really listen to his lyrics, it's very, to me, conscious in a lot of aspects of it. That takes me back, okay, I could get with listening to this. I may not agree with everything he's saying in there, but this other, opposed to what we listen to mumble rap, and these guys are just talking about getting high and calling women hoes and bees and strip clubs and just killing each other. That rap there is nothing but destructive.
Now, what do you think about the whole Crip Walk in the Super Bowl?
I think they said it wasn't. I didn't.
Serena. I heard Serena did the Crip Walk or the Sea Walk, right?
Yeah, she did a little bit, like a little skit in there, but
okay.
It didn't even resonate to me as a Crip Walk to me. They just was walking around and just.
So it wasn't like that was a big part of the performance.
No. You had to watch it. Just go watch it. You'll see. It wasn't a big part of the performance. And for anybody to highlight that means they weren't listening to what he was saying, because he strategically played different songs. Like he even played a song where it slowed down, and then Samuel Jackson came out and said, "Hey, that's right. That's what we want to hear right there." And then he flipped it on him. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So Samuel Jackson was like, it was like, hey, you're too loud. And then he was like, kind of being the voice, dressed in as Uncle Sam. Hey, this is what we want to see from our black youths. You're doing it right. And then when he wasn't doing it right, wait a minute, what you doing? And it was the symbolism of it. You're doing it right there. The most watched event in the country at any time in front of the whole world. And when you go and watch the reactions to it, I saw a lot of white folks took positively to it. They're like, man, this was like, if you, like one guy said, Kendrick Lamar just shot a hole in DEI because the whole program was all black folks. So there was no inclusion. If you wanted to talk about if there was white, it was everybody that performed in it was black.
Yeah.
So there was no diversity, equity, inclusion in that. And then, one guy said, hey, more power to him. And I saw a lot of positive reaction from more of the white folks than I did from our own people. Other people, I was like, these guys wasn't paying attention. They were just looking at, the cosmetics of it all.
Okay.
And, and I could tell, you got to remember, a lot of people are not studying past the news. They hear what the news say, and that's their whole narrative. That's all they know is what the news is telling them.
Well, that like I said, it leads me to my next question. Sometimes I speak on certain topics, and I like to really bring to light the cultural violence situation, and I don't say everybody. Just like I don't say everybody's a racist, everybody's a gang member, everybody's a street. I'm saying, but the aspect of that that's not being brought to light, I think needs some at times attention brought to it to call these people out.
What you mean, like the violence in black neighborhoods?
The violence in black neighborhoods, man. Like, and everybody says not, you're picking low hanging fruit. I'm not picking the
It's
guys
not
who
low
are the black
hanging fruit.
geniuses.
It's a fact, and it's
Brothers
been
going to
like that
school.
for. I'm 55, and it's been like that since I was a kid. So 55 years of being on this planet. That's what it's been like.
Well, it was like I was listening to a guy and even Thomas Sowell, and they were talking about when you go back, right, even before civil rights, and a lot of people, oh man, look, you can walk with all your jewelry on, fur coats, you wouldn't get mobbed, your mom would be safe late at night, you didn't have the violence. There wasn't a sense where if I seen you and I felt like, I can get over your prey. It was more of a respect thing. Hey, that's an OG right there. That guy, that's so-and-so's mom, or he's retired. That's so-and-so. He came back from the army. You know what I mean? It's none of that no more. And so I'm saying we got to, in order to change the perception, and I'm not saying, once again, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm just saying that if we shine light on this, maybe we can wake some of these people up. Yeah. I know some people are doomed, but what's your opinion on that?
My opinion is, I mean, you're on point. I mean, the violence in black neighborhoods, African American, whatever you want to call us, I don't like those terms, but has always been there. Like I said, I'm 55 years old. Witnessed, before I was 10 years old, I witnessed a lot of violence in the hood. I was born in the Bronx. Lived in Edenwald Projects, was one of the roughest projects in one of the roughest projects in the hood in the Bronx. Then I moved to Bedford-Stuyvesant, which was a rough neighborhood, compared to Green. We had surrounding Brownsville and Crown Heights and all of that. So let me put it like this: I've never had to fight a white man physically. Okay? In all of my years of living, I never had to go fist to fist with a white man. Every fight I've had was with someone who looked like me. Everyone. Every one of them. Any person that whoever threatened me with violence was someone that looked like me. Anyone who tried to rob me was someone that looked like me. So I got to go with the facts here. I can't go with what possibly could happen. Now, have I been treated racist by white folks? Yes. I worked at the World Trade Center. A couple of them got out of line and said some crazy things to me. Called me a monkey, used the N-word. But guess what happened? In both of those instances that I'm describing, there was a avenue that I went to and had it dealt with. Where this guy called me a nigger. Right? Told the head of the assistant head of the exchange. I used to work at the New York Mercantile Exchange. The guy was fined $1,000 for using that word back then. That the trading floor, they fine you. Like if you wore jeans, you got fined. You say you use too much profanity, you got fined. But I went to him, hey, this guy called me this is in 1992, 3, somewhere in that range, right? So it got dealt with. And then the guy came back and apologized. Same thing, the guy called me a monkey. Now, I did offer, hey, when he said it to me like in a crowd of people, hey, what do you want, monkey? And then I said, hey, I'll give you another opportunity to say that downstairs. I was smart enough not to fight right there because I would lose my job. But I say, we can see how that goes if you say it outside. And then he came back and apologized. We shook hands on it. He said, man, that was uncalled for. He came back to me, looked me in the eye and said, hey, that was uncalled for. I grew up in a place where that was common and I just lost it. And he actually broke it down. He came and explained himself, saying with the other guy, he still got fined $1,000, but it wasn't like I took it and just walked away. Yes, did I want to get physical with him? Yes, I wanted to do it like I would do in the hood. But my point is this. Black folks got to wake the hell up and stop with the bull and getting upset because someone says that more violence is happening in your neighborhood than other neighborhoods, right? You see what I'm saying? we commit most of the crimes against each other. And now Thomas Sowell made a point here. In the poorer neighborhoods, the crime that happens is amongst that group, that ethnic group. So the poor whites are committing crimes against themselves, you see? So are there now, see, what happens is we take certain narratives and we blur the lines with it. What I mean by that is, in America, the person that's committing the most domestic violence is not the black man. Those are the stats. It's not us.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Okay. But who are they committing that domestic violence against? Their women, their children, whoever, right? They're not coming in our homes and doing it. So the point I'm making is we can't fix other people because we're broken. It's our communities. Our homes got the highest. Our women are the lowest in marriage rates, but the highest degree rate. They got more degrees. But yet, when it comes to marriage, they got the low numbers. Fatherless homes. You see? And of course, me, I don't qualify myself. Hey, it's not everybody. I'm not. You should know, if you smart enough, I'm not talking about everybody.
That's right.
What I'm saying is the statistics are there. Our homes have the broken homes. And why is that? It ain't so much because of the man. They want to blame it on it's funny how some of our sisters will say it ain't all of us. You always talk about black women. It ain't all, but they will be the first ones to say black men are the reasons why they don't have fathers in the home. They would be the first ones to say that black men, the reason why this kid is behaving like that, because the black man is not in the home, which is a bunch of BS. Because how can a man who's not around be an influence on a kid's behavior? Children of behavior is created by their environment. Let's take it back to, I'll be personal about it. How I am today is because of my environment. I grew up in a 2-parent home. Now, did I go off and stray off? Yes, I did. I sold drugs on the street. I did all that stuff, right? But guess what? I couldn't do it in the home I was living in. I had to leave home and go be a knucklehead. I couldn't do that with my father in the house. My father would kill me. But I had to do it behind his back, away from the home. Mm-hmm. I had to go, guess where I had to go? I had to go live with my aunt, who was a single mother, and get away with that. You see what I'm saying? She allowed me to have that behavior in the house and condoned it. Not just one. Both my aunts lived in the same house, single moms with a bunch of children. So that was the only place I can get away with that. I couldn't get away with that with my dad in the house. And my father was a disciplinarian to the highest degree. Belts, extension cords, by his degree, he would be a child abuser by the definition today, but I'm happy for him. And my parents are still together.
Well, too, the whole thing is accountability. And when people say that I pick on, dude, I've been in the system, so how can I be picking on him? I was one of those dudes. Dude, I was one of those, you know what I mean? I've been to juvenile hall, Akiem. I was in there, my mom coming there looking at me, I'm messing up, my grandpa telling me, and I'm sitting there and I'm around these dudes, and then I make a mistake and I go to CYA, and then I go to the federal pen, and then I'm like, damn, it's a cycle. And right. It's like, I can't blame nobody but myself. So when I talk, it's from a perspective of having walked through there, and all I'm saying is for a lot of these people, look, once you get in the system, then you get mad, and you say, like, you want to be like, well, you guys did it. No, you did it. You did it. If you could stop, you don't have to be one of them dudes. You could be a nerd. You could be a square. You can go play the violin. You can go to school. You can do this. Nobody.
That's the problem. The problem is what we call nerds. The stuff that helps us prosper, we call them nerds. The guy that's reading, the guy that's going out there to work. That's the guy. He does everything by the books. That's the nerd.
Yeah.
Which is that shows our the mindset is twisted. Because there is no success in the street. You and I both know that. You out there, I was out there. And guess what? While you're in the street, you know that there's no success in the streets. You just trying to get it away with it as long as you can until something tragic happens. Either you go to jail, one of your friends gets shot. For my case, I got caught a couple of cases. And then they said, you get another one, you out of here, you gone. And I was smart enough. Well, not really. I got fucking arrested again. But I was, by the grace of God, didn't do any time, no serious time for it. But I was looking at 5 to 10 years. But the thing is, our people in general, not everyone, like you said, spend too much time looking at the white man and what he has done, which, a lot of things has been done to us. We are a PTSD people. We've been through some things. But at the same time, those things were done many years ago, and we are self-perpetuating the cycle ourselves. They don't have to do anything anymore. We're continuing it on our own.
Yeah.
The reason why they can come and gentrify our neighborhoods because we ain't doing nothing with it. We're not trying to hold on to it. We let it get taken. Property can't pay for it. You just walk out on it instead of trying to figure it out or getting together, pooling our money together. We'll pool our money together for a picnic and a party, in a barbecue, whatever. That's the time. Only time we come together is when there's some crab legs, fried chicken, and some other shit that we can eat. This ain't a white man saying this. See, if a white guy said, "Oh, he's racist," he said we eat fried chicken. Yes, we do. We love it. That's one of the things we like. We like macaroni, cheese, all that stuff, right? But the fact is, the only time we really have a good time, and even those, when I was growing up, end up in fights, was when we did a block party, we did a picnic. But when it comes to industry or businesses, hey, let's get together in this business. Everybody want to be individuals now. Now you do your thing, I do my thing. And we don't even want to come together, pool our money together. Like our money doesn't stay in the neighborhood with an hour before it goes to someone else.
Or
let me point out one thing. Let me point out something. Let me make it clear. They're going to be hot when I say this. My daughter came to me and said she want to do nails. That's something she want to do. And I don't have a problem with that, right? But I had to explain to her, I said, if that's what you want to do, just realize your people are not going to support you in that business. I'm a licensed barber. Over 25 years, I got a barbering license. So our sisters go to everyone else for their beauty care other than their people. Only place they stick with us with the sisters is getting their hair done, because not many people are trained in dealing with that texture of hair. But as far as getting nails and all of the makeup and all of that stuff, they spend the money somewhere else. And I had to explain that. I said, that's the harsh reality. Now, you may not realize that, until you get into it. So if you're expecting people that look like you to support you, don't count on it. Now, isn't that a sad thing to have to say to your daughter?
Well, it's better you tell her than for her to find out and then feel like she's been betrayed because people aren't supporting her. But that's one of the things, like I always tell guys, like you talk all this stuff and you say like, this person, and it's always going to be racism in the world, man. This person might not like you. This person might talk shit.
That's just going to happen.
That's just going to happen. But at the end of the day, like you said, I told one of my friends, I'm like, dude, you talk all this shit. I said, let's all put in $1,000, $2,500, start a business. We can start building our own cars. We can start doing our own custom business. But man, you don't want to do it. So you talk shit about this person. But if I go partner up with an Armenian, a Russian, maybe some Jewish guys or a Mexican dude, and we start a business and we thrive, you're like, man, you getting down with them people. How does that make sense?
But see, what does that show? That we have become the racist.
Yeah.
The black folks have become the racist.
Yeah.
You see a mixed couple. Oh, look at them. They done sold out, But wait a minute. That person might have tried a relationship with somebody look like them for years and it didn't work out. And then they get with this person, whole different experience, and it's working.
But why does it make a difference? It's like, Akiem, if you go out into the world and you found, say if it was a Hispanic woman, and she just started, you're like, wow, we connect. Do you say, wow, I connect with a Mexican woman? Or you just connect with a woman? Are you really making it? You see what I'm saying? Are you going to sit there, if she takes you to her house and cooks her little food, you're like, well, man, I have some good Mexican. You said, no, I had good food. You didn't got to say Mexican food, right?
Right.
So what people, And when they say stuff, they don't even catch it. But when somebody says it to them, you're racist. No, you're racist too.
Right.
But they say you can't be racist if you're black.
They say we can only be prejudiced because we don't control anything. But we say and do racist things. We do. We just gotta admit it.
Yeah.
We so busy looking at somewhere else that we're not looking in our own community. We're not looking at the fact that why people do certain things. Why people, when you get a certain amount of money, you get out of the neighborhood. Why? Because what you think about your neighborhood where you grew up at, right? And you reach some form of wealth. You gonna stay in that neighborhood? Why? Why won't you?
It's the thing about neighborhoods, right? They're like antennas. All the homes, all the people. It's an energy frequency.
Right.
So as your elevation of energy frequency, you might have been vibrating down here, and then one day you wake up, you're like, "Hey, babe, I think we should move." I went over here, visited this other friend of mine, and blah, blah, blah. I like their neighborhood. They got a house over there for sale. Want to go check it out? You feel a different energy that pulls you in another direction. And it's no different than, I remember my grandfather used to say, "Man, get them dudes from up over here." And he used to see, like, when he pull up, I said, "Hey, man, my grandpa's, he's off work. You guys got to go." They'd be hanging out in front of the house, whatever. And he used to be looking at me crazy, and I never got it. But he's like, your friends, man, are a reflection of who you are.
Right.
It's no different than your neighborhood. Like the neighborhood I grew up in, it's changed a whole lot, but there's some people who never left there, and I look at them, they're stuck. They're not going nowhere. They're not going to economically, financially, that's it. They maxed out. No, so it's nothing personal, but if you grow, Akiem, why would you stay somewhere that you grew up at where your parents only lived there because that's where they were in the mind state of the economics you were at the time? Like my mom taught me what she knew based on her understanding, but for me to stay at that same understanding would be ignorant.
Right. Like my homeboy that invited me over to his house, right? He lives in a very nice house in Wake Forest, right? But where we grew up in basically the same neighborhood. We're not living the same. Why did we leave? Because that neighborhood where we grew up, most of the people didn't want to do more than what they were doing. They didn't want to build up the neighborhood. They just want to get over stuff. Didn't want to be around
that might have just been the building block. Everybody starts somewhere. Like, it's like back in the day. Remember when people came over, the other people moved to Brownstone, the immigrants came in here, and then projects, when they get money, they leave. Everybody just shuffles. Life is shuffling. It's like water. It's flowing. So if you're stagnant and stale water, what happens in stale water? It starts stinking.
Right. You can't go to those neighborhoods and live in them and have anything of value. Because what's going to happen? They're going to break into it. They're gonna try to break into your house. Okay. When I lived in New York, it was the people that lived on a block that broke into our house. Okay. The people that robbed me by my house, it was people that looked like me that did it. It wasn't a white guy that came in through there. It was the point I'm making is we have to look in the mirror if we want to fix the problem. We got to say, we got problems in our neighborhood. We got cancers in our neighborhood that if we can get rid of them, we'll do better. Because not everybody in the neighborhood was like that. My family wasn't living like that. We were Jehovah's Witnesses, so we was the ones trying to preach to people and stuff like that. Not saying that we're better than anybody, but we were being taught values, not to be a thief, not to be trying to hang out on the corner. Like my mother and father, you forbid us from, hey, get off that corner. Don't be standing there. What you do? Like if I'm walking to the store and I stop for a second to talk to anybody that was on the corner and my mother saw me, that was a problem.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? What you doing talking? I don't want you to get off that corner. And my mother used to say this. I never forget what she used to say. Those guys get dressed up in their best clothes just to stand on the corner. That's what she used to say. I hear that ringing. And my father said, my father used to work for transit and he'd come home. He said, and he would say, he kind of taught me this. He said, man, I ain't worrying about white people. I'm worried. You got to worry about your soul brothers. They're the ones that are trying to rob you and do everything to you. But it's a reality. That's real.
Yeah.
And we got these so-called race baiting politicians. All they want to concentrate is on what a certain party is saying or doing, but they never want to address the cancer in neighborhoods. They do something about those boys that are committing the crimes and breaking into people's houses, shooting up people's sons. Do something about them. But no, they don't do nothing about them. The police come after them, and then when the police beat them upside their head, now the police are racist.
Yeah.